The return to glory of the Green Bay Packers has been astonishingly sudden. The 6-1 Pack are a young, particularly close-knit team, and except for their coach Bart Starr, a remarkably under-publicized group of athletes. Facing the fast-fading Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay showcased the talents of running back Turdell Middleton, number 34, the NFL's third leading rusher. Unfortunately for Green Bay, Middleton's touchdown was their only score, as the aroused purple displayed the defensive muscle that has turned the NFC Central into their own private domain. Viking quarterback Fran Tarkenton has been enjoying a splendid season that belies his team's dismal 3-4 record. This has meant beating linebacker blitzes with help from tight end Bob Tucker, number 38. With Green Bay unduly conscious of Tarkenton's fondness for throwing to his backs, the seams opened up for his wide receivers. Number 28, Ahmad Rashad, caught 2 touchdown passes as the swift-striking Vikings finally won a meaningful victory by defeating the Packers 21-7. While the Packers and Vikings fought for a title, Monty Clark's Detroit Lions battled for credibility. Detroit had earned but one victory, and with the dynamic San Diego Chargers in town, another win seemed remote. The addition of number 26, Lydell Mitchell, was thought to be the final link in a chain of Charger lightning bolts. Mitchell's 55-yard touchdown tied the game at 7, but from that point on, the Lions put some teeth into their defense. Detroit accumulated 5 sacks and intercepted an equal number of ill-advised San Diego passes. Led by quarterback Gary Danielson, who completed 22 of his 32 passes, the Lions feasted on the heretofore tough Charger defense. Behind fast-stepping Dexter Bussey, number 24, the Lions amassed 275 yards rushing. The Lions built an insurmountable 31-7 halftime lead on the timely throws of Danielson, who picked on Charger linebackers and passed for 3 touchdowns. The Lion defense suffered only one letdown in the second half when a safety blitz by number 40 Jim Allen was correctly read and exploited by James Harris for 6 points. Charlie Joyner's touchdown was pretty but meaningless as Detroit humbled San Diego 31-14. In 1977, Denver quarterback Craig Morton was AFC Player of the Year. This season, things have not been going as well. Last week in Baltimore, Morton could only generate 6 points of offense against the Colts, pro football's most generous defense. Morton's counterpart for Baltimore, Bill Troop, did not fare much better, but he was able to throw for a second-period touchdown pass to number 35, Glenn Doughty, a score that kept the Colts in the lead. Denver did have one last shot at winning when kicker Jim Turner tried a field goal in the final seconds. But Baltimore's all-pro defensive tackle Mike Barnes blocked the attempt to clinch a 7-6 Colt decision. This keeps Baltimore just barely alive in the AFC playoff race. But for the Broncos, it was a squandered opportunity to take over sole possession of first in the AFC Western Division. In Kansas City, the Cleveland Browns got what appeared to be the spark they needed when rookie Keith Wright, number 89, took the opening kickoff and raced for 86 yards. But the Chiefs held the Browns to only a field goal, allowed no more scores the rest of the day, and got 2 touchdown runs from Arnold Morgado, number 21. Kansas City won 17-3 to snap a 6-game losing streak. The decision also prolongs the Chiefs' mastery over the Browns in KC, who have never won a game in this part of Missouri. If Kansas City is an unpopular stop for the Browns, Dallas is a nightmare alley for the Philadelphia Eagles, who haven't won there since 1965. But for a while last week, it appeared as if the Eagles were ready to change all that. A touchdown grab from hard-working tight end Keith Krepke, number 84, helped. But Philadelphia coach Dick Vermeil told his team they would have to play errorless ball if they hoped to upset world champion Dallas. They didn't and fell to the Cowboys 14-7. Winless Cincinnati is now punchless too, as they were shut out in Buffalo by the Bills 5-0. The Bengal offense hasn't scored a touchdown in 13 quarters, and they even gave up 2 points on this very unorthodox safety. If anyone knows of the whereabouts of the missing Cincinnati attack, they are advised to call the Bengal front office immediately. That call will probably be toll-free. There were also some unhappy moments last week for the San Francisco 49ers against Atlanta. Their best-laid plans went astray as even a good run from O.J. Simpson turned into disaster. The Niners made another costly mistake when a punt was blocked by number 38, Rick Bias, who then took it in for the Falcons' first score of the day. But Atlanta didn't need to rely solely on San Francisco lapses. Quarterback Steve Bartkowski has really come on in recent weeks, and he had a superb outing last Sunday, passing for 256 yards. 71 of them came on this bomb to rookie Alfred Jackson, number 85. Late in the game, Bartkowski went long again, finding number 82, Billy Reichman, for this 59-yard scoring excursion. Reichman's touchdown was followed by a last-second tie-breaking Falcon field goal that gave Atlanta a dramatic 20-17 victory. With the win, the Falcons keep their season record at 500 and remain tied for second in the NFC West. The team that is ahead of them is the Los Angeles Rams, whose bubble finally burst last weekend. The heretofore unbeaten Rams were upset by the New Orleans Saints, who did it with a surprisingly tough and opportunistic defense. Although the Rams gained more yardage, New Orleans scored the game's only touchdown, a fourth-quarter pass from Archie Manning to running back Tony Galbraith, number 34. The 10-3 victory gave the Saints their first win ever in the LA Coliseum. But even more significant was that the win evened their season record at 4-4. The Saints are the only established team in the league that has never had a winning season. Now, after 11 frustrating campaigns, the Bayou faithful have reason to believe that 1978 will bring that long-awaited winning record. Against Washington, the New York Giants completed just 3 passes, but quarterback Joe Pisarcik, who loves to throw long, averaged a whopping 37 yards per pass. New York recorded only 3 completions because they threw merely 10 times, relying instead on their steady running attack. The key to the game, however, was the Giant defense, which intercepted Joe Theismann 3 times and held the Redskins without a touchdown. If New York's defensive squad is beginning to resemble that of the Giants' championship years, it is no coincidence. Its coordinator is Dick Modzelewski, a vital cog in New York's great teams of the late 50s and early 60s. And at middle linebacker, number 53, Harry Carson, is a burgeoning superstar who may eventually rank with Sam Huff in all-pro stature. On the Redskins side of the ledger, Joe Theismann and Jack Pardee are obviously musing the mystery of their disappearing offense, which has scored only 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games. For late in the game, Washington resorted to some unaccustomed trickery. But the Skins never did get in the Giants' end zone and scored only 6 points on 2 field goals. Instead, it was the ultra-conservative Giants which sprang the biggest surprise of the day. 46 yards later, number 89, free agent James Thompson, who was a Redskin cut, had put New York on the 4-yard line, and 2 plays later, a record Giant Stadium crowd of 76,192 saw Jersey Joe Pisarcik salt the game away, scoring untouched for the Giants' 4th straight win over Washington, a victory that solidly thrust surprising New York into the race for the playoffs. Under Bud Wilkinson, the end-around play has become the staple of the Cardinals' woeful offense. Unfortunately, the winless Wilkinson team reached the enemy end zone only once, while the New York Jets, without Richard Todd's accurate air arm, stayed mainly on the plains. The most gratifying development to result from Todd's injury has been the establishment of the Jet ground game and the emergence of the offensive line, particularly number 1 draft choice Chris Ward, which cleared the way for 2 Scott Dirking touchdowns. The Jets' thrashing of the 0-8 Cardinals vaulted the NFL's youngest team into a second-place tie with Miami, 1 game behind New England in the AFC East. In New England, the Patriots and Dolphins squared off in a super game that saw both teams take turns marching upfield into the other's end zone. With Bob Griese making his first start of 1978, the game was a duel between the finest finesse passer in pro football and the most physical running quarterback in the game, Steve Grogan, number 14. Griese was simply superb, hitting 22 of 35 for 227 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the player who decided the game was Horace Ivory, who behind excellent trap blocking went 22 yards for the 4th quarter touchdown that put New England ahead to stay in this pressure-packed offensive shootout. It was a rare moment in the spotlight for the second-year speedster from Oklahoma, whose pro career has been hampered by injuries until now. Minutes after Ivory's score, the Dolphins' doom was sealed when Griese was sacked in his own end zone for a safety that put the game out of reach. New England won this battle for undisputed first place in the American Conference East, now probably the toughest division in football. But with a half a season ahead and both the Dolphins and Jets hot on their heels, the Patriot players know there's plenty of football yet to be played before a playoff berth is assured. And these two teams meet again in the last week of the season. In the Pacific Northwest, the Seattle Seahawks sport a huge following. The attraction is simple, for their ability to bring fans out of their seats makes the Seahawks one of the NFL's most entertaining teams. The largest Kingdome crowd yet saw this trend continue last Sunday against the Oakland Raiders. Again, the elements of victory were evident. The laser passes of Jim Zorn, the tightrope catches of Steve Largent, number 80. When things got tight, Zorn always seemed able to carry the Seahawks out of danger. These maneuvers helped Seattle roll up 27 points. Every one the result of something the Seahawks haven't been famous for, defense. Seattle dropped Snake Stabler in his tracks 3 times and pressured number 12 into many passes which never should have left his hand. Defensive tackle Bill Gregory's interception was the Seahawks' 4th of the afternoon and broke Oakland for good, 27-7. Up here, where the unexpected is fast becoming the expected, the Seattle Seahawks and their loyal fans are discovering the joys of winning. It has been as joyful as it has been painful for Oakland, who has already lost as many games this season as they did in all of 1977. The swelling crowds of Tampa Stadium have been diagnosed as symptoms of a disease that has all of northern Florida in its grip. Medically, it is termed as Bucks fever, a fun-filled infection that features side effects such as winning football games. Last Sunday, the Buccaneers matched their defense against those puzzling bad news Bears from Chicago. And as usual, Walter Payton proved to be the entire Chicago attack. To stop this one-man team, the Tampa defense attacked before they were attacked by the Bears offense. For example, Payton's favorite play is a strong side sweep with guards Reeve Sorey and Noah Jackson in the lead. But by destroying Chicago's blocking patterns before they could develop, Tampa managed to create congestion through which even Payton could not pass. Throughout the afternoon, Buck defenders like Mark Cotney repeatedly stripped Payton clean of his interference so that the rest of the pack could swarm to the ball. Sometimes, though, it was an individual like nose tackle Davy Pear who single-handedly beat double-team blocking to snuff out Payton or fullback Roland Harper. But whether individual determination or team play, these methods were so effective, Walter Payton managed only 34 yards rushing. The Bears did manage 19 points, and that always used to be more than enough to beat Tampa Bay. But that was before the Bucks uncovered a quarterback. Doug Williams was Tampa's first-round draft pick in 1978. And since number 12 stepped under center, the Bucks offense is no longer the league's worst. Ricky Bell, number 42, has never looked better than he has since Williams took charge. And Tampa Bay now possesses the ability to grind it out a little at a time or grab it all at once. Suddenly, those passes, which were once inches too long, are just right. And twice against Chicago, Williams reached back and pinpointed receivers in the end zone, dead in stride. Riding the arm of Tampa's Rookie of the Year candidate and secured by a tenacious defense, the Buccaneers rolled by Chicago 33-19. It was a victory that had all of the symptoms of that disease opponents have come to hate and the fans have come to love.